When you think of PepsiCo, what comes to mind? Probably a cold can of Pepsi, right? The iconic blue logo, the rivalry with Coca-Cola, the Super Bowl commercials. But here's what most people don't realize. PepsiCo isn't really a beverage company anymore. It's a snack empire that happens to sell drinks on the side. While Coca-Cola has remained laser-focused on beverages, PepsiCo quietly built something far more valuable. A food empire that generates over $86 billion in annual revenue. They own Lay's, Doritos, Cheetos, Tostitos, Ruffles, Quaker Oats, Gatorade, and dozens of other brands you consume every single day. Today we're diving deep into how PepsiCo transformed from Coca-Cola's underdog into a diversified giant that's actually worth more than its legendary rival. This is the story of brilliant strategy, calculated acquisitions, and why losing the cola wars might have been the best thing that ever happened to them. Let's go back to 1965. Pepsi Cola was struggling. Despite aggressive marketing and the famous Pepsi Challenge taste tests, they were still firmly in second place behind Coca-Cola. The cola wars were brutal, expensive, and seemingly unwinnable. But then, CEO Donald Kendall made a decision that would change everything. Instead of doubling down on cola, he merged Pepsi Cola with Frito-Lay, a snack food company that had been formed just 5 years earlier from the merger of the Frito Company and H.W. Lay & Company. This wasn't just a merger. It was a revelation. While Coca-Cola was spending billions fighting over market share in a mature beverage market, PepsiCo suddenly had access to a rapidly growing snack food business with incredible margins and brand loyalty. The timing was perfect. Post-war America was becoming a snacking culture. Televisions were in every home, convenience stores were multiplying, and processed foods were becoming the norm. Frito-Lay was perfectly positioned to capitalize on this shift. But here's the genius part. The two businesses complemented each other perfectly. Chips make you thirsty. Drinks make you hungry for salty snacks. PepsiCo could now offer retailers a complete package, beverages and snacks together, giving them unprecedented leverage over shelf space. Through the 1970s and 80s, while Coca-Cola was buying movie studios and other non-core businesses in a misguided diversification strategy, PepsiCo was methodically building a snack empire. They acquired Pizza Hut in 1977, Taco Bell in 1978, and Kentucky Fried Chicken in 1986, creating one of the world's largest restaurant companies. But more importantly, they were investing heavily in their core snack brands. Lay's became not just a chips, but America's chips. Doritos transformed from a regional specialty into a global phenomenon. Cheetos created an entirely new snack category. And PepsiCo's distribution network became so powerful that they could launch new products faster and more efficiently than anyone else in the industry. The acquisition of Quaker Oats in 2001 for $13.4 billion was another masterstroke. This wasn't just about oatmeal. It brought Gatorade into the fold, giving PepsiCo dominance in the sports drink category. It also brought Life cereal, Rice Aroni, and Aunt Jemima products, further diversifying their portfolio. By the early 2000s, PepsiCo's strategy was clear. Own the snack aisle, dominate alternative beverages, and let Coca-Cola worry about cola. The soda business was slowing down anyway, with health concerns and changing consumer preferences creating headwinds for the entire category. Let's talk about the results because they're staggering. Today, Frito-Lay North America generates approximately $25 billion in annual revenue. That's just one division of PepsiCo, and it's nearly 30% of their total revenue. The operating profit margins on these snacks? Often north of 25%. Compare that to the beverage business, which typically sees margins in the mid to high teens. PepsiCo's market capitalization hovers around $250 billion, while Coca-Cola sits at approximately $290 billion. They're essentially neck and neck in value. But here's the crucial difference. PepsiCo generates about $86 billion in revenue, compared to Coca-Cola's $43 billion. PepsiCo is literally double the size in terms of revenue. Why the difference in valuation despite the revenue gap? Coca-Cola's beverage-only model historically commanded higher multiples due to its simplicity and massive operating margins. But that gap has been closing as investors recognize the value of PepsiCo's diversification. Let's break down PepsiCo's revenue sources. Frito-Lay North America, 29% of revenue. Quaker Foods, North America, produced 3% of revenue. PepsiCo Beverages, North America, close to 31% of revenue. Latin America, just 9% of revenue. Europe, keys 11% of revenue. Africa, Middle East, South Asia, to 6% of revenue. Asia, Pacific, Australia, New Zealand, and China, 11% of revenue. Notice something? Only about 31% of their North American revenue comes from beverages. They're fundamentally a food company that also sells drinks. Here's something most people don't understand about PepsiCo's success. Their distribution network is their moat, and it's nearly impossible to replicate. PepsiCo operates one of the largest direct store delivery systems in the world. Their trucks don't just drop products at a warehouse, they deliver directly to stores, stock the shelves, and manage the displays. This gives them unparalleled control over product placement and freshness. When you walk into any convenience store, gas station, or supermarket, PepsiCo products occupy prime real estate. They don't just have one or two facings, they dominate entire aisles. And because they can offer both snacks and beverages, they have leverage that pure-play companies simply can't match. Think about it. If you're a retailer, you could work with Coca-Cola for beverages and then separately negotiate with snack companies. Or you could work with PepsiCo and get everything in one package with better terms, better service, and better support for promotions. This distribution advantage also allows PepsiCo to launch new products with a built-in advantage. When they introduce a new chips flavor or beverage variant, it's immediately available in hundreds of thousands of locations. That's not just convenience, it's a competitive weapon. Now, PepsiCo hasn't been immune to criticism. As obesity rates climbed and public health concerns about processed foods grew, PepsiCo found itself in the crosshairs of health advocates. But here's where their diversification strategy paid off again. Under former CEO Indra Nooyi, PepsiCo launched Performance with Purpose, a strategic initiative to reformulate products, reduce sugar and sodium, and acquire healthier brands. They've invested heavily in better-for-you products. Baked versions of classic chips with less fat, reduced sodium across multiple product lines, zero-sugar beverage options, acquisitions like Bear Snacks, Health Warrior, and stakes in brands like Vita Coco and Popcorners, expansion of Quaker products into health-focused categories. But they've been smart about it. Rather than abandoning their core products, they've expanded the portfolio. You can still buy regular Doritos, but now there are also baked versions, organic options, and better-for-you alternatives. They're meeting consumers wherever they are on their health journey. The beverage portfolio has also evolved. While Pepsi remains a flagship, Gatorade dominates sports drinks. Propel offers enhanced water, Bubbly competes in the sparkling water category, and their partnership with Starbucks through the North American Coffee Partnership brings ready-to-drink coffee beverages to market. While PepsiCo is dominant in North America, their global strategy has been equally impressive. They've adapted their portfolio to local tastes while maintaining their core brands. In Mexico, they're the market leader despite Coca-Cola's strong heritage there. In the UK, Walker's, their version of Lay's, is the dominant crisp brand. In India, they've created products specifically for local preferences while still pushing their global brands. China represents both their biggest challenge and opportunity. While they've made progress, the snack food market there is incredibly fragmented with strong local players. But PepsiCo is playing the long game, betting that as Chinese consumers become more affluent, they'll gravitate toward global brands with consistent quality. Their emerging market strategy focuses on 3 pillars. 1. Adapt global brands to local tastes. 2. Acquire or partner with strong local brands. 3. Build manufacturing and distribution capabilities that can support long-term growth. The diversification between snacks and beverages also helps in markets where beverage consumption patterns differ from the US. Snacks are universal. making them a reliable entry point into new markets. So what's next for PepsiCo? They're facing several significant challenges. First, the health and wellness trend isn't going away. Younger consumers are increasingly conscious of what they eat and drink. PepsiCo needs to continue evolving its portfolio without alienating its core customers who still love classic Cheetos and Mountain Dew. Second, sustainability pressures are mounting. Packaging waste, water usage, and carbon emissions are under scrutiny. PepsiCo has made commitments to reduce plastic use and achieve net zero emissions, but these are expensive transformations. Third, the retail landscape is changing. E-commerce and direct-to-consumer models are disrupting traditional distribution advantages. Amazon's entry into grocery through Whole Foods and Amazon Fresh creates new competitive dynamics. But PepsiCo has advantages in facing these challenges. Their scale provides resources for innovation and transformation. Their brand portfolio gives them flexibility to pivot and adapt. And their decades of experience managing complex global operations provide institutional knowledge that's hard to replicate. They're investing in digital transformation and e-commerce capabilities, sustainable packaging solutions, healthier product formulations, expansion in developing markets, innovation in functional beverages, and better-for-you snacks. Here's the ultimate irony. PepsiCo lost the cola wars, but they won the business war. By recognizing that the future wasn't just in beverages, they built a more diversified, more resilient, and ultimately more valuable company. Coca-Cola is an incredible business with unmatched brand power in beverages, but PepsiCo is something different. A food and beverage conglomerate that touches consumers multiple times per day across dozens of categories. When you grab a bag of Doritos with your lunch, sip a Gatorade at the gym, start your morning with Quaker Oats, and have a Pepsi with dinner, you're experiencing PepsiCo's masterful strategy. They've woven themselves into the fabric of daily life in a way that transcends any single product or category. The lesson from PepsiCo's success? Sometimes being second place in one battle opens the door to winning a bigger war. Sometimes diversification beats focus. And sometimes the best strategy is to play a different game than your competitors. PepsiCo isn't just a beverage company competing with Coca-Cola. It's a consumer goods empire that's bigger, more diversified, and positioned for a future where health trends, sustainability, and global growth matter more than winning the cola wars. And that might be the greatest business strategy of all. What do you think? Did PepsiCo make the right choice by diversifying beyond beverages? Or should they have stayed focused on competing with Coca-Cola in the drinks category? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this deep dive into PepsiCo's strategy, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. This is Business Explained.